everybody, and welcome to the third ever Royal Rumble here at Talladega No Walls Revamped. We are getting ready for an exciting event. 40 drivers do not know what's awaiting them. We are going to find out at the end of this long event who is going to be the champion of the third annual Royal Rumble. Seth Cole, trackside, ready to bring you all the action as we get ready for today's race. Another thing about this thing is it's going to be a little bit different from the past two Royal Rumbles we've had. How will the drivers be able to adjust to these changes? We're going to find out. So, we are getting ready today for the Royal Rumble. Let's take a look right here at what's going to go down. What exactly are we going to see differently from the previous Royal Rumbles here in today's race as we take a look at today's official rules. For those of you that are new to this Royal Rumble concept, this will give you a general idea of what's going to go down here today. We're going to have a total of 40 drivers in this field. Each one of those 40 drivers ended up randomly drawing a number. It was done on random.org, completely random. Every driver's got a number from numbers 1 through 40. The numbers that they drew is going to determine where they come into this event. The higher your number, the better your chances of winning this event, because the chances are that you're going to come in later in the race and have an opportunity of not wrecking and getting into what's going to be the final 10-lap shootout. We'll get to that in a minute. But we're going to start with the drivers who drew positions 1 and 2. Those two drivers are going to battle it out for 2 minutes. It's going to be 2 minutes as opposed to 3 minutes that we had last season. I want to see if I can get this race into just one part rather than 2 parts. We're going to see if we can get that done. If not, we don't know. YouTube allows us a 2-hour time limit for, for homemade videos and everything. We'll see if we can get it into that time limit. But 2-minute interval is what these first two drivers are going to do. If those two drivers do not wreck or get eliminated, they are going to then be joined by entry number 3, who will join them for a 2-minute segment. Then, if those guys survive, they're going to be joined by entry number 4 for yet another 2-minute segment. So it will go on until we get up to entry number 39. I say 39, you'll understand in just a moment why number 40 is not included in that. Next thing, how do eliminations occur? Eliminations are going to occur here at this racetrack in 3 different ways. The first way is if a driver goes off the racing surface on the outside of the racetrack. Basically, if they end up leaving what is actually the racing surface at Talladega, if they go into the air off the turns, if they go off the front or back straightaway into the grass or into the asphalt, as you see here on the front straightaway, you can see a kind of a black line there on the outer perimeter of the track. If they bypass that and all 4 tires are on the opposite side of that line or on the outer surface, they automatically are eliminated from the Royal Rumble. The second way, you notice that yellow line there on the inside. If all 4 tires go to the left side of that yellow line, they are automatically eliminated. And the third way, which is a little bit of an exception, we don't really see it happen a lot, but it could happen here today. Back in turn 4, coming off turn 4, where that yellow line is right here on the front straightaway, there's actually a dotted white line that is in the turn 4 down to the entrance of the tri-oval area. That is going to count as this yellow line, even though it is a dotted white line. If all 4 tires go to the left of that dotted white line, then drivers are eliminated. Now, a lot of drivers, you're going to be seeing them kind of wary on whether they want to eliminate someone or not, because we've seen a lot of times in past history that they may also eliminate themselves from the Royal Rumble. A lot of strategizing going to be going on here in this event. We're going to take it all in as we're going to be seeing what's going to happen. Alright, the final thing that's going to happen here is once entry number 40 comes in, this is another change that's been made. We used to have when entry 40 came in, then it was that he raced the drivers for a 3-minute segment and then the 10-lap shootout begins. Well, once entry number 40 is announced here today, that is when the shootout is going to begin, and it's going to be a 5-lap shootout rather than a 10-lap shootout. So in other words, it's going to be really, really more hectic for these drivers. They're going to have to make their moves a lot earlier, a lot quicker, and a lot more aggressive in order to win this Royal Rumble. That's the general view of what we're going to see here today. We are now going to take a look and see who our 2 first competitors are going to be. The drivers who drew numbers entries 1 and 2. Let's take a look and see who they are. So it looks like it's going to be the Sean and Sean show to get our Royal Rumble underway. Sean Henley on the inside, on the outside, Sean Galligan. Getting ready to go to green flag racing. Now these drivers were going to be going for a 2-minute segment once they hit the stripe. For the other intervals, it'll be from 7 minutes to 9 minutes. So we're going to have to see when they hit the stripe here, and then the clock will count down 2 minutes from there. Here we go. The 3rd annual Royal Rumble is underway, and the green flag was taken on 6:40, which means we are going to race to 8:40 in this segment. One thing we're going to be doing here too, since this is an NNSCRA endorsed event, the NNSCRA Royal Rumble, we're going to be talking about the past NNSCRA success of these entries and just how important a Royal Rumble victory would be to their resume. Both these drivers very successful in the NNSCRA. Sean Henley, a former Snickers Cup Series champion. As a matter of fact, he's trying to go for back-to-back Snickers Cup Series championships as he's made the Snickers Cup Series chase for the 2nd season in a row. And Sean Galligan back there, he's also made the Oreo Truck Series and Mobile Cup Series chases for the championship here in Season 5. A 3-time winner in the Truck Series. And if memory serves me correctly, I do believe one of Sean Galligan's Truck Series wins came at Talladega Super Speedway. So very important information there. The experience factor, wow, I'm losing my voice here. The experience factor is definitely going to come into play, I have to think, here today. And talk about experience, both these drivers, to my knowledge, they've been in the past 2 Royal Rumbles. So that Royal Rumble experience is going to come into play here as well. 40 seconds away from our next entry. It's going to be interesting to see if these drivers, if their mentality this early on is going to be based on eliminations, or are they just going to try to survive? Are they going to give each other room, not really try and turn each other, eliminate each other this early on? Right now it appears that's the strategy of Sean Henley and Sean Galligan. They're giving each other quite a bit of racing room here. We're only 20 seconds away from our next entry. Galligan and Henley, I'll tell you, when these cars start building up and we get up to about 4, 5, 6 cars, that's when the eliminations start to occur, and we're nearing that point here. So they're going to come down here. Looks like they're going to hit the stripe just about the time when our next entry comes in. As here comes entry number 3 into the Royal Rumble here today. It's going to be Trek Togger joining these guys. Trek Togger, who's actually a former Snickers Cup Series winner. He ended up winning a race back, I believe it was at Zenjoltis in Season 4. Here he is in that number 7 here today. And you saw right there Sean Henley moving Sean Galligan up the racetrack. As these drivers start to compile and accumulate here, you're going to see the racing get a little bit more aggressive. Drivers getting a little bit more desperate, knowing that the odds of them being eliminated are getting greater and greater with every new entry that joins them. Trek Tar going to look down to the bottom here. Let's see if these guys are going to give each other enough racing room, or are they going to get aggressive here early on. We've seen on occasions too where every competitor on the racetrack can get wiped out in a single move. In that case, we end up bringing in the 2 next entries, so that way we don't have to basically run 2 minutes of one driver out there just riding around. It's another thing that we have kept here in the rule book that's been the same for the past 2 seasons, as Sean Henley out here in front. I'll tell you, I think that right now, if I were out there on the racetrack, the place I would want to be would be dead last, because you know, I think you're going to see a lot of drivers out in front. They're going to have people coming right up to their back bumper, getting pushed right up to their back bumper. Not really sure if out in front's the place you want to be. However, Sean Henley's got himself a nice little 2-car length advantage over Trek Togger. They're pretty spaced out here. Very nice job by those 3 drivers. This is definitely going to keep them at least in the hunt, I would think, until entry number 4 comes in, which is only about 15 seconds away. Trek Togger going to dive down here to the bottom. Keep in mind here, these drivers don't get anything for leading laps. This is basically just whoever is in the lead when the end of that 5-lap segment is over. So here comes entry number 4 into the Royal Rumble. And it's going to be John Cittadino in the 75. Oh, almost got into Sean Henley right there from the get-go. John Cittadino, he is a former Oreo Truck Series winner, a 3-time Snickers Cup Series winner. He's also in the chase for the Snickers Cup Series as a rookie this season. John Cittadino definitely making a name for himself here in the NNSCRA. He wants to be able to win the Royal Rumble. And right now we got ourselves 4 drivers on the racetrack. Just how aggressive are they going to get here? Can these 4 drivers possibly survive this 2-minute segment and make it to entry number 5? We always try and look for a driver that's really based on longevity, on how long he's going to stay in this event. We've had lots of competitors do it in the past 2 seasons. Will the same be said here today? Sean Henley, who came in entry number 2, Galligan entry number 1, Cittadino entry number 4, and Trek Togger number 3. Will we talk about any of those drivers when we get up to around entries 11, 12, and 13? Or will these drivers have already been eliminated? We're going to find out. It's a long event, I know, but that's what this thing is all about. Right now, Cittadino, Henley, Togger, Galligan, all racing each other very clean, giving lots of room. They know what's at stake here with the fact that they drew such early entries. They know that they have to give each other room. They know they have to curb their aggressive emotions and not race each other that hard this early. And the way they are racing with only about 20 seconds now left in this segment, looks like we are going to have 5 drivers in a segment. I really, honestly did not think it was going to happen this early on, but looks like it's going to. As we're about to find out who's going to be entry number 5 here in the Royal Rumble. 4, the countdown 3, begins. 2, 1. All 4 of these drivers going to continue. Here's our next entry. Next entry going to be Zach Campbell in the 27. We now have a 5-car pack. And it looks like they've kind of stepped up the aggressiveness of their racing. Oh, Galligan nearly got into Henley there. That's one thing about this track that I did fail to mention. That these drivers are going to be targeting as far as trying to turn their competitors in front of them. And that's that left rear quarter panel. And these cars, I'll tell you, these cars are like the cars they race in the Rolex 24 Daytona. These cars, they are just so skittish out there. I tested in one of these cars, saw what they were going to be like. You make the least little bit of contact with these cars, they are going to go out from underneath you. They are much lighter than the cars that we normally have come here in the past 2 Royal Rumbles events. It's going to make the odds of hanging on to these cars much more difficult. It's going to be a much harder challenge for these drivers to keep themselves in this Royal Rumble if and when contact is made with that left rear. Right now, Sean Henley was able to escape from Sean Galligan, who nearly got him off of turn number 3. Now these guys are going to be racing hard behind Henley. That's always good news for the leader. I'll tell you one thing Henley's been doing that I've been really impressed with is he's been keeping about a 2-3 car length advantage between himself and whoever is running in that second position. That's one thing that you definitely need. And oh, there goes Trek Togger off the racetrack, along with Zach Campbell. Now they are not wrecked, but you see they are on the left side of that yellow line. That means that they have been eliminated from the race, and Trek Togger's going to come back on the racetrack and fly right off the outside of the track. That means he's eliminated anyway. As he hits the outer perimeter of this track, Zach Campbell able to bring it back up on the racetrack, but it doesn't matter. All 4 tires were on the left side of the yellow line. Zach Campbell and Trek Togger are out of this race. Zach Campbell there in the 27 and Trek Togger in the 40, Trek Togger in the 7 and Zach Campbell in the 27. Both eliminated. It leaves us 3 competitors now. Another thing, we are not going to be going back and looking at replays. What you see is what you see. As here comes our next entry, entry number 6. Next driver going to be Aaron Williams Jr. coming in at entry number 6. Aaron Williams Jr., a former Royal Rumble winner. He actually won the first ever NNSCRA Royal Rumble under the name of Kevin Rabinall. So he's the only former Royal Rumble winner we have in this field. He's got an opportunity to pick up his second ever Royal Rumble victory, but he's going to have quite a task of doing it here this season as he's starting way at the front of this event. Moving up to the high side, pretty good move there. Is Sean Galligan going to go out in front here? Already we've had 2 eliminations, as you know, Trek Togger and Zach Campbell. Tough break for both of those drivers. As I recall, I believe it was Trek Togger's first Royal Rumble. Zach Campbell, it might have been his second. Of course, if it was his first, that meant that then both drivers were making their debut. It's a tough break for them as they will not be winning the Royal Rumble here today. Quite a bit of success here with these 4 drivers. Sean Galligan, John Cittadino, Aaron Williams Jr., and Sean Henley. As a matter of fact, between Cittadino, Henley, and Aaron Williams, I believe there's a total of this season 5 Snickers Cup Series wins, as well as Sean Henley being a former champion in the Snickers Cup Series. And all 3 of those drivers are going to be battling for the Snickers Cup Series championship here in Season 6. Sean Galligan going to be battling for both Truck and Mobile One Cup Series championships this season. So all 4 of these drivers very successful right now in the NNSCRA and trying to continue that on to be able to put on their resume that they won the 3rd annual NNSCRA Royal Rumble, as they've been racing each other pretty clean right now. Oh, well, I just said that, and almost Aaron Williams Jr. getting turned by Henley. We're about to get entry number 7 to join us here. Let's find out who it's going to be. And it's going to be Adam Chambers in the 60. And I realized when Chambers came in, I did not talk about the NNSCRA success of Aaron Williams Jr. We've already talked about him being a former Royal Rumble winner, but he's also a 2-time winner in the Snickers Cup Series this season and in the chase for the Snickers Cup Series championship. Adam Chambers, on the other hand, he is a former Snickers Cup Series champ. Ended up winning that championship back in Season 2 as he's kind of flirting with that yellow line there. That's a little dangerous. Adam Chambers also battling it out for the championship in the Snickers Cup Series this season, trying to become a 2-time NNSCRA Snickers Cup Series champ. He also is a 2-time winner in the Mobile Cup Series, battling in the chase for that series as well. And on the down note, Adam Chambers was unable to make his 5th straight Oreo Truck Series chase for the championship, as right now up ahead of him, they are racing really hard. Sean Galligan and Aaron Williams Jr. Now, we saw Aaron Williams Jr. racing Galligan pretty hard in our last 2-minute segment. You got to think, now Sean Galligan is kind of having that proverbial give and take. Hey, you gave me a rough time, I'm giving you a rough time. And he really was all over the back bumper of that 18, now falling back after Chambers is going to move him up to the high side. You take a look here at these drivers. You got 3 drivers right there. Aaron Williams Jr., Adam Chambers, and, 4 drivers. Aaron Williams Jr., Adam Chambers, Sean Henley, and John Cittadino. All these drivers may not only be sizing each other up here today, but they may be trying to play some proverbial mind games, because all 4 of them are going to be battling for the Snickers Cup Series championship. You gotta wonder if there's a little bit of mind games going on here. Sean Galligan, he's not battling for the Snickers Cup Series championship this season, so we can just go out there and race these guys. He is, however, going to be battling Adam Chambers for the Mobile Cup Series Championship, so you got to wonder if a little bit of a challenge going on there. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why my voice is cracking up on me here today.
4, 3, 2.
But anyway, we're going to go through here to our next entry. Who's going to be entry number, I believe going to be entry number 8. Highest number of drivers we've had on the track to this point. A total of 6 drivers now on the racetrack. George Roque coming in at entry number 8. Oh boy, they are really getting close off this corner. Sean Henley flirting with the outside of the racetrack there. So go double wide. Look at Henley, way up to the high side. That's exactly what I would have done too. As Adam Chambers and John Cittadino, they're going to battle side by side here. Here comes Sean Galligan. Oh man, how are they keeping this together? I mean, they are literally almost bouncing doors heading into these corners, and yet they're still giving each other enough space. Oh, contact! Galligan nearly went off track. Oh, John Cedino. Oh, there goes Galligan. Galligan, Henley, entries 1 and 2. They are out. Somebody else just went off the track. I couldn't even tell who it was. Oh, it's John Cedino. He's off track. And George Roca's also off track. Those drivers are eliminated. Which leaves us Adam Chambers and Aaron Williams Jr. Galligan, who came in entry number 1. Henley, who came in entry number 2. Citadino, who I believe came in at entry number 4 or 5. And George Roque, who just came in at entry number 8. They are all eliminated from the competition. There you see Galligan. He's still on the racetrack running, but he went beneath that yellow line here on the back straightaway, so he is eliminated from winning the Royal Rumble. Same for Henley. There's George Roque, and there is John Citadino. Those 4 will not win the Royal Rumble. These 2 are the only 2 who have not been eliminated that look like they will move on to the next segment when entry number 9 comes in. Aaron Williams Jr. and Adam Chambers. What a tough break there for Sean Galligan and Sean Henley. Both survived up here to entry number 8. Which means they both had survived 6 segments.
5, 4, 3.
As here comes our next entry. It's going to be
1.
now a 3-car pack as 4 eliminations have taken place during this segment. Entry number 9 going to be Trent Dunham in the 02. Dunham in the NNSCRA, a former Mobile Cup Series champion, also trying to become a 2-time Mobile Cup Series champ as he is in the chase here in Season 5 in that series. And Trent Dunham running the McDonald's colors, very familiar to see him in those colors as he usually drives the 1 car for Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, McDonald's being a sponsorship of that ride, as it's going to be him, Adam Chambers, and Aaron Williams Jr. battling here. We are very close, going to 25% of this race complete. That'll happen at the end of entry number 10 coming in. It's one thing about having the 2-minute segments, it is going a little bit quicker. And it's allowing for some drivers, too, to actually be able to survive. I mean, who knows? That 1 extra minute in each segment could be the deciding factor into whether a driver is eliminated or not. Had we not cut it down by a minute, Aaron Williams Jr., Adam Chambers, they may have been eliminated from the Royal Rumble by now. But because of that 1 minute in each segment being taken off the clock, that could be the deciding factor into who's going to win this Royal Rumble. As Trent Dunham, really, nobody's even been getting by him. That's another thing these drivers are going to be doing. You're going to be seeing them putting together really fast race cars. Speed is key here, because if you get out in front ahead of all these guys and let them battle behind you, that could definitely play out into your favor, into you making the final segment of this Royal Rumble and possibly winning. So these 3, you can bet that the 4 eliminations that took place in that last segment has definitely put the fear of this track back into them. And they may be back into just riding around mode
4,
rather than the aggressive
3,
elimination
2,
mode. And here
1.
comes entry number 10. Who's it going to be? Well, here's a guy who definitely is coming into today's race as one of the possible favorites, not based on the fact that he's got good Royal Rumble history, but based on the fact that he has good numbers in races with these kinds of cars. Anthony McCurry, a well-known off-road racer. These cars are off-road racing cars, formerly or basically known for their road course racing. And Anthony McCurry here today, no doubt about it, he has a lot of experience in these cars that could come into play today. But keep in mind, we're at a restrictor plate, Talladega Superspeedway. These cars are not built for this kind of racing, so is that going to make Anthony McCurry be a student rather than a professor in these rides, in this event? Anthony McCurry, well known for his NSCRA history. He's made 2 Oriole Truck Series chases in the past seasons. He's also a 2-time winner in the Snickers Cup Series this season. end up getting on a wild card spot. He'll be battling for that Snickers Cup Series championship in a ride for his own team, Artec Motorsports, a single-car race team. Looking very racy here today. One of his wins in the Snickers Cup Series ended up coming at a restricted plate track, Daytona International Speedway. Obviously much different than this track, but who knows, that kind of restricted plate track racing experience could come into play here today. As a matter of fact, I failed to mention that Trent Dunham, one of his wins in the Moldwin Cup Series this season, that came at Daytona at the season opener. So a lot of drivers here with restrictor plate track experience that could be a factor into whether they're going to win this event or not. All these drivers, well-seasoned veterans in the NNSCRA as well. They're keeping it together here. And looks like we're going to compile the field back up. We were up as high as 6 entries in this Royal Rumble. We're going to get up to 5 now, as here comes entry number 10. Or make that 11. Tim Walsh now joining the fray with the rest of these drivers. There he is right behind Aaron Williams Jr. there. Tim Walsh in the 31. Kind of interesting, him and Trent Dunham coming out at the same time. As I recall, their rivalry was rekindled, I believe it was back in the Amp Energy Cup Series over on Sean Henley's channel, Sean the Dog 97. And both of them, I wonder how they're going to race each other here in the Royal Rumble. They're going to actually go side by side here. There's Dunham and Walsh side by side. Without a doubt, probably one of the best rivalries in NR 2003, and it's rekindled itself, and we're going to have to find out what the byproduct that's going to be in the course of this Royal Rumble event. As Chambers now going to go underneath Aaron Williams Jr. Anthony McCurry right back there as well. These 5... all of them, very good resumes here at restrictor plate tracks. We'll see if that's going to put them in good stead. But all of them starting so far up at the front as far as their entries, so low numbers. And we got quite a few big names still yet to come. Take a look there, Tim Walsh. I think he actually wanted to back out away from this. Oh, McCurry! He got Chambers loose. Oh, man, he nearly got him off that corner. That was close. You know, I was talking to these guys, and they said it's just so difficult to make eliminations. They were out there testing with these cars, and they say that when you get into that left rear of somebody, your car ends up snapping around on yourself as well. And so it's really a hard task trying to eliminate someone without eliminating yourself. So that's why you probably aren't going to see these guys that often try and go for eliminations. Here comes Trent Dunham. He's going to bypass Adam Chambers there. As now Tim Walsh is all over the back bumper of Aaron Williams Jr. And Aaron Williams Jr. just got wicked loose. Oh, man!
2, 1.
Wow, that was close. He got really loose, had it back out of the throttle. Next entry's coming in, but we nearly had about 3 drivers eliminated right there. They survived for another round. Field starting to get big again. We're up to a 6-car pack once more as Dylan Young joins the fray in the 77. We had a near encounter of 3 eliminations at the end of that last segment with Aaron Williams Jr., Tim Walsh, and Anthony McCurry almost all being eliminated. I don't even really know what happened. It almost looked like the 18 got loose in the corner, or he just lost momentum, but he started to stop, and then he came down almost into Tim Walsh and Anthony McCurry, and that nearly ended up taking out those 3 competitors. Oh no, McCurry getting into it. Oh, there they go. Oh my goodness, one car flying through the air. That was Adam Chambers. Oh man, he hit that wall a ton. Look at the damage. The whole left front wheel well is gone. Dylan Young is in it. Aaron Williams Jr. in it. And oh my goodness. I don't know if Anthony McCurry was... I think McCurry may actually be eliminated as well. I think he went beneath the yellow line. So just like that, When we just brought up a 6-car pack, we now have 4 eliminations. There's McCurry. We're getting the word. He has actually been eliminated. He went beneath that yellow line. Aaron Williams Jr. also has been eliminated, and so too have Dylan Young and Adam Chambers after Chambers took a wild ride. I think that wreck was too spectacular. I think we really do have to jump back, take a look at a replay of that. Well, here it was. Let's take a look here and see. But, you know, I'm almost wondering if McCurry is eliminated. I don't know. I think he may still actually be in this thing. Let's go to the helicopter view. I really am not sure. We're going to jump to the helicopter view, see if indeed Anthony McCurry is eliminated from this race. Watch the 2-car of McCurry right here. Let's see if he does go beneath the yellow line with all 4 tires. No, he doesn't. McCurry is still in this thing.
5,
And look
4,
at the air. You see
3,
Chambers back there getting the air.
1.
And we're going to take a look at our next entry now as time has run down. What a nice save by Anthony McCurry right there. Able to keep himself in this thing as they're joined now by Tryphon Reed in the 50. Anthony McCurry with maybe one of the best saves of the day was he was able to eliminate 3 other drivers. And Tim Walsh getting awfully close to that dotted white line there out of turn 4. That would have resulted in an elimination if he had gone completely beneath that. But Anthony McCurry showing off right there, just exactly what you got to do in order to eliminate competitors, but keep yourself in this thing. McCurry did a great job right there, as he'll get credited with the eliminations of Aaron Williams Jr., Adam Chambers, and Dylan Young. Dylan Young wasn't in this very long before he got taken out. It's a tough break for him. We're waiting to get word, see if drivers have been released from the infield care center and are okay. Trek Togger, Zach Campbell, we've gotten word they are okay. We're still awaiting word on other drivers such as George Roque, Aaron Williams Jr., and of course Adam Chambers, who took that hard lick into that inside retaining wall there off of turn number 2. Side by side between Trent Dunham, Tim Walsh. I'm really keeping my eyes on those two, the 31 and the 01. It's right behind them. Looks like Anthony McCurry, Tryphon Reed. They're going to let those two settle out whatever they want to do there. Here comes Tryphon Reed. He'll go down to the low side. Pretty safe racing right now for all 4 of these drivers, awaiting entry number 14 to join them. Getting close to the halfway point. It's not taking that long here with these 2-minute segments. And Tim Walsh out in front now. Looks like all 4 of these drivers at this point are going to advance on to the next round. We've got about 15 seconds remaining in this segment. Still some really big names yet to join this field that are lined up somewhere in these 40 entries as we're getting ready now to find out who entry number 14 is going to be. And it'll be Kyle Sosnowski in the number 26 joining us now. Now building this pack up again. We're up to a 5-car pack as Anthony McCurry's right there. But Tim Walsh, and McCurry just eliminated himself. McCurry is out of this. He got into the left rear of Tim Walsh, trying to turn him beneath the dotted white line. Tim Walsh was able to save it. McCurry was not. McCurry has been eliminated from the Royal Rumble. He was able to pull it off one time. Second time apparently did not work out in his favor. Anthony McCurry officially now has been eliminated from the Royal Rumble. But keep in mind though, McCurry is going to stay on the track for the remainder of this 2-minute segment and is at liberty to try to eliminate any other driver he chooses. You can bet I think he's going to be gunning for that 31 of Tim Walsh, who I believe is going to get credited for the elimination of Anthony McCurry. Is Sosnowski going to go underneath here, but McCurry, let's see if he's going to try and run down that 31 at all. He's got about a minute to do it if he's going to try to eliminate Tim Walsh from the Royal Rumble, as Walsh was able to eliminate McCurry. As a matter of fact, I really can't say that Tim Walsh eliminated him. Oh my goodness, Tryphon Reed and Kyle Sosnowski. How did Tryphon Reed hang on to that? Wow! Great save there by the driver of the 50. Nearly got into the left rear of Kyle Sosnowski. Nearly went beneath the yellow line, and that could have been close. Oh boy, Trent Dunham! Oh, Trent Dunham! Oh, did he save it? Did he save it? Is Dunham okay? No! Oh my goodness, hard hit. Trent Dunham! Oh, hard into the wall. Trent Dunham, after contact, I believe it was with Kyle Sosnowski, may have been with Tryford Reed. His car just shot up the track and off the racetrack. Trent Dunham kind of eliminated himself there, and Dunham is out of the Royal Rumble. With less than 10 seconds remaining, already 2 drivers been eliminated. We'll be having a 4-car pack instead when we get our next entry. McCrory and Dunham are out. Here comes entry number 15. Another former NNSCRA champion, Jake Rogers, in the 58, comes in at entry number 15. Rogers was the Season 2 Oreo Truck Series champion, and he's up here now drawing a rather low number. I think basically it's going to be drivers who draw entries 30 through 40. They're going to be the ones who will be able to breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief that they will possibly survive until the final 10-lap segment, but a few drivers doing pretty well right now. Kyle Sosnowski came in at entry number 14, Tryford Reed entry number 13. Tim Walsh right now, the lowest driver that's still in this thing, he came in at entry number 11. So he has survived now for a total of 4 segments. And oh boy, he really got loose off that corner, nearly eliminated himself. Seems like whenever these guys get up to about 5-6 car packs, that's when they start focusing on eliminations. We'll see here in this 4-car pack if they try going for eliminations. We've seen for most of the day, as soon as they get into 3-4 car packs, they give each other room and wait until the field builds back up. Looks exactly like what they're trying to do right here is Jake Rogers going to be leading the way here, driving the sponsorship of Red Bull. Oh, Tryford Reed! Oh, he saved that thing! He literally had 2 tires on the apron, 2 tires on the racetrack, and I'll tell you, the way this track is built, he had nothing underneath his car. He was literally tightrope walking through that corner, and how that car did not snap around on him and go up the track, I don't know. Oh boy, Tim Walsh getting all over the back bumper of Jake Rogers. He's on his left rear! Oh, awfully close off that corner. Somehow they keep it together. Here comes our next entry, entry 16. Boy, these are going fast. Next entry going to be James Silverfox in the 33. Oh, and he almost went right to work there on the Jake Rogers machine. Nearly got Rogers turned around. Oh boy, Jake Rogers, James Silverfox flirting with that dotted white line. Oh, look at Tim Walsh. Look at Tim Walsh. All over the back bumper of Silverfox. Looks like they're going to be okay for now. Oh, maybe not. Tim Walsh right there. Oh, gets him loose. Silverfox trying to hang on to it as Tim Walsh literally bashing the back of his number 33. And again, they're going to keep it together. This is some good racing here. Good saves by a lot of drivers in the past few minutes. Oh man, Tim Walsh is determined to turn Silverfox though. Here he comes again. Trying to get the run on the 33. Looks like Silverfox going to be good for right now. But the question is, what's it going to look like heading into turn number 1? Oh man, Jake Rogers. Oh, Tryford Reed. They're awfully close to each other. Don't like this. Oh, man, look at Tryford Reed. Right on the back bumper. There's Tim Walsh again. Back on the back bumper of Silverfox. Kyle Sosnowski just sitting there looking around him saying, my goodness, look at these guys racing. You guys go at it. I'm just going to stay out of your way. And oh, man, Tim Walsh, he is determined. He wants to get James Silverfox out of this thing. There he is. All over the back bumper. Oh, Tryford Reed all over the back bumper. Kyle Sosnowski. Is anyone going to get turned off for? No, we're still good. Wow. Oh boy. Oh man, there was some contact definitely right there between all four of those drivers. Tim Walsh and Sosnowski were the two cars to snap up the racetrack, get loose in the tri-oval. And believe it or not, we've got only 15 seconds left in this segment, and all five of these drivers have survived so far. And looks like they will advance to the next round. That was a great segment right there. Let's find out who's going to come in at entry number 17. It's going to be Alex DeMarco in the 4 as all of a sudden things are starting to get awfully testy here. These drivers are getting racy. Oh, DeMarco! He just turned Sosnowski! Oh, Tim Walsh is involved, and so is Tryfon Reed. That leaves Rogers and Silver Fox. Sosnowski is out. Walsh, DeMarco didn't even spend, I don't think, 5 seconds in this thing before he tried turning Kyle Sosnowski. He eliminated Sosnowski, but he eliminated himself as well. He'll also get credit with the eliminations of Tryfon Reed and Tim Walsh. And then there were two. Jake Rogers, James Silverfox, fortunately able to get through that. 4 eliminations just like that in the blink of an eye. Entry 13, Tim Walsh, or make that 11, Tim Walsh. Entry 13, Tryfon Reed. 14, Kyle Sosnowski. And Alex DeMarco, who had just come into this thing. I really don't think he was in this for any more than 5 seconds. Was Alex DeMarco. That's a tough break for him. Of course, he's going to get credited with 3 eliminations. Actually 4 if you include himself. And of course, eliminations are basically what it's all about here in this segment before you get to the 10-lap shootout, but you want to try to eliminate the others and not yourself, and DeMarco did not capitalize on that opportunity. So I'm pretty doggone certain Jake Rogers and James Silverfox, they're going to advance to the next round. I don't think those two would try turning each other right now, based on the fact they're probably still trying to catch their breath, as they could have possibly been involved in that incident and wiped out all 6 cars. I do remember one time we had 4 drivers, I think it was the last Royal Rumble, we had 4 drivers battling really well. Somebody got the apron, came up and collected all 4 of those drivers, and we had 4 eliminations just like that. We went from 4 cars on track to 0 cars on track. Had to bring in the next 2 entries to keep the thing going. Here comes entry number 18. Richard Johnson ready to join these guys, coming to entry number 18. Only 2 more segments away till we reach halfway in today's event. Jake Rogers, James Silverfox, Richard Johnson giving each other a lot of space here. There's about a good 2-3 car lengths between Rogers and Silverfox, then back to Richard Johnson. Pretty good strategy here too. Keep it spaced out, keep it together, and you can possibly make it into the second half of this Royal Rumble event. Already we've had a total of 18 entries, including the latest Richard Johnson come in. Only 3 have survived, which means 15 eliminations have taken place, including some rather big names, including Sean Galligan, Sean Henley, John Citadino, Aaron Williams Jr., a former winner of the Royal Rumble. Oh, man! Rogers, what a save! Nearly eliminated himself right there after contact with Silverfox. Some other big names, Trent Dunham, Anthony McCurry. We've actually gotten word that Adam Chambers has been treated and released from the Infant Care Center after his hard hit into the inside wall off turn 2, so glad to know that. Tim Walsh just recently eliminated. Dylan Young out of the race. There's a lot of big names in this field that have already been eliminated from winning the Royal Rumble, but there's still some big names to come and a few names of drivers I don't even know. We had quite a few drivers that I haven't heard of before, and there goes Silverfox and Rogers! They finally have it happen as they just got on top of each other coming off of turn 2. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot of comments about that. I'm not going to say the words, but I know that there are going to be some comments about that. But Rogers and Silverfox, they are out. And Richard Johnson, the little lone man out there on the racetrack now, is Silverfox, Rogers. Those two, really, they were racing each other hard. Rogers nearly turned Silver Fox. Silver Fox turning Rogers to repay the kindness, and both of them eliminated. Richard Johnson needs a new competitor. Here he comes, entry number 19. So it's going to be Jacob Lawler in the 91. He will join now Richard Johnson. Richard Johnson, for about 30 good seconds, was running on the racetrack all by himself after the eliminations of both Jake Rogers and James Silverfox. So now we know that no driver coming in before entry number 17 is going to win the Royal Rumble, as everybody ahead of Alex DeMarco, who came in at entry 17, have been eliminated. Richard Johnson, entry 18. Jacob Lawler, entry 19. They'll try and make it into the second half of this event. Then they got to survive 20 more segments after that, as well as the final 5-lap shootout. Saw how Jake Rogers and James Silverfox battled with each other as Richard Johnson kind of backed out of that battle. We'll see if Lawler and Johnson are going to race each other that hard in this segment. If so, we'd have to bring in entries 20 and 21 if these two did eliminate each other during the course of this segment. They got about a little less than a minute to be able to survive until we bring in our driver that will indicate our halfway point, entry number 20. Looks like they're going to settle it out here. They're going to keep it together, at least for now. Swapping the inside and outside line. You know, a lot of things, too. And I can't say these drivers are going to make it to the final segment, the final 5-lap shootout, but these guys, the way they're racing hard, they are, yes, trying to eliminate each other. They're trying to be able to eliminate as many competitors as possible, but I think they're also sizing each other up, seeing what kind of car the other one has, just in case they find each other in the same place at the same time on the final lap of the 5-lap segment. Oh! Richard Johnson just got eliminated by Jacob Lawler. And now Lawler, oh man, now Richard Johnson wants to eliminate Lawler. He just came up, tried to eliminate him, couldn't do it. But Richard Johnson just got eliminated by Jacob Lawler. Perfect textbook elimination by the 91. Now he has eliminated Johnson. Who's his next competitor going to be? Entry 20 on his way. Jacob Lawler eliminates Richard Johnson in the final stages of the previous segment. And as a result, he's going to have to take on Dylan Poteet now in the 17, who comes in at the halfway point, entry number 20. So Jacob Lawler now going to have the task of trying to eliminate Dylan Poteet, who's been quite a consistent driver in the NNSCRA. He's been close on numerous occasions, too, on winning the Royal Rumble back in the season 1, or not season 1, but the first annual Royal Rumble. I believe it was Dylan Poteet who battled it down to the line with, at that time, Kevin Rabinall. I think James McLeod may have been in the mix of that as well. And so Dylan Poteet trying to get some redemption here by winning the Royal Rumble here. He's going to have to survive 20 more segments, though, as, he's looking to go on Lawler. And he got into the left rear, but then dislodged himself. He'll go to the inside of Lawler instead. Dylan Poteet, Jacob Lawler side by side. As I got the phone ringing here, I don't know why. And it's a call from Geico. Let's remind everybody that Geico can save you 50% on car insurance. There you go, Geico. I just gave you a plug that you called my house. Dylan Poteet out in front now with Jacob Lawler. I think these two right now have kind of settled things out between them. However, I thought they had settled it out between Richard Johnson and Jacob Lawler on the last segment, and what happened? In the closing stages, Lawler was able to eliminate Richard Johnson. So maybe this thing isn't over yet between these two. So we've got just about 25 seconds remaining before we begin the second half of this race, bringing in entry number 21. The countdown to the entry number 40, the final entry, is almost underway. As it's going to be Lawler, Poteet, they will advance to the second half of this segment. Here comes entry number 21. The countdown to the finish of this thing is underway. comes Drew Austin in the 01, drawing in at number 21. And Drew Austin there, oh boy. That was close right there. Poteet nearly getting into Drew Austin. We nearly had same thing happen like what happened to Alex DeMarco, where immediately when the segment begins, almost had an elimination. Is it going to be Austin, Poteet, Lawler? Oh, and Lawler, look at the run, on to Poteet. Oh, drat, I'm going to miss it. Oh, no elimination. Oh boy, I thought there could be a close elimination there, and I almost missed it with a fail going to the pace car. Pace car has nothing to do with this race. The only time we're going to see the pace car again is when we get ready for our final 5-lap shootout. Besides that, he's currently in the unemployment office. As Dylan Poteet, Lawler, Drew Austin giving each other a little bit of space now, about a car length of space between each other. One more minute to go here in this segment. Right now, the highest running driver that's been in this the longest is Jacob Lawler, and he came in at entry number 19. These are entries 18, 19, and 20. Oh, boy. Actually, they're actually make that 19, 20, and 21 the entries, but that was close right there. I don't even know who it was that almost did the turn. It might have been Drew Austin almost turning Lawler. It might have been Lawler almost turning Poteet. Whatever the case, somehow they snaked out of turn number 2 and kept it together. As they're going to go side by side here, Austin, Lawler, Poteet right behind, 20 seconds remaining before we'll bring in entry number 22. And Poteet, oh boy, look at this. He's trying to get the run there to get to that left rear of Jacob Lawler.
5,
Can't do it off
4,
this corner.
3,
As we're going to bring in entry number 22 now, the pack is starting to build up once again. Entry number 22 going to be former Mobile One Cup Series champion Pichu London in the 99, and he almost gets eliminated. He does get eliminated! After contact with Jacob Lawler, Pichu London makes a quick entrance and exit in the Royal Rumble. Good grief. And it was a single car incident there, and I don't even know which finger to point at whichever driver. I almost looked like Lawler and Pichu London, they lodged each other. Boy, I can't even talk right now. London got into the left rear of Jacob Lawler, turned him down, and I think Pichu London's car went down, clipped that apron, and we told you that apron, it's a slant down, then an immediate slant up between the racetrack and the apron, and I think Pichu London hit that. It snapped his car around, and he headed up the racetrack. You can see it right there, the skid marks. He went straight off the racetrack. Nothing he could do about that. It's a wonder Lawler didn't go with him. Or a few other drivers, too. I think he spun right up in front of Drew Austin. But Pichu London probably going to be battling with Alex DeMarco for shortest time in the Royal Rumble. Not exactly a distinguishing honor. But Pichu London out of the Royal Rumble just like that. And I would snap my fingers. It would have added more effect, but I don't know how to. So, enough of that. As Jacob Lawler, Drew Austin, Dylan Poteet find themselves exactly where they were last segment, continuing to battle each other. As Pichu London, that's a tough break for him. Pichu London, as I said, a former Mobile One Cup Series champion. That occurring back in Season 4. He will not win the Royal Rumble. So he came in the second half of this thing with a pretty good entry 22. 15 seconds to go before we bring in entry number 23. After that, we'll be only having 17 more entries before we begin the 5-lap shootout. Who's going to survive to that? Who's entry number 23? And it's going to be Chris Kyle in the 80. That green car back there. I do believe it's somewhat of a teammate car to what Sean Galligan drove. I may be incorrect in that assumption. More than likely am. That's about 99% of the time I'm incorrect. But Drew Austin is going to be out in front now, and we're up to a 4-car pack. We're up to a 4-car pack the last segment, but Pichu London made a quick exit. See if these guys can survive any longer. Oh boy, there we go. Chris Kyle about to get a challenge there of elimination, courtesy of Dylan Poteet. Poteet thinks better of it though, ducks out of line. So one thing about this racetrack, you cannot second guess yourself. If you're going to go try to eliminate somebody, you got to go and try to eliminate somebody. If you second guess yourself at the last second, more than likely you're going to make the mistake of not only eliminating that driver, but eliminating yourself. You've got to have a game plan, and Dylan Poteet just got eliminated by Jacob Lawler. He just got forced beneath the dotted white line out of turn 4 by Jacob Lawler, and Poteet is out of this thing. He didn't get spun, he didn't get turned, he didn't shoot off the outside of the racetrack. He got forced down beneath the dotted white line by Jacob Lawler. All 4 tires went beneath that dotted white line, and Poteet is going to be eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Poteet, who came in at entry number 20, has now been eliminated, but keep in mind, same as I said earlier when Anthony McCurry was eliminated, Dylan Poteet is free at will to be able to eliminate any of these other drivers before this segment is over. He's got a total of 20 seconds now to be able to try and eliminate Chris Kyle, Drew Austin, or Jacob Lawler. And look at Lawler. Lawler way back there. He doesn't want to get up to that 17 car. He knows that Dylan Poteet would be gunning for him. He's just going to ride behind that 17 car as if nothing happened. Oh, well, now he's going to go to the inside. He's feeling brave. 5 seconds remaining. Can Poteet try and eliminate anybody? Nope. Poteet has been eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Here comes entry number 24. And now we begin the part of this Royal Rumble I've been looking forward to. Kevin White coming in at entry number 24. A driver I have never even heard of, as he's already making a little bit of a name for himself, flirting with that dotted white line. There he is in that 51. There are quite a few drivers after this that we're going to be having that I have never heard the name in the NNSCRA circuit or the NR2003 circuit, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Why? Because, keep in mind, in the second annual Royal Rumble, it was Chris Jones who took the win, and that, at that point, was a driver of whom I had never heard his name. So, can history repeat itself for the second season, or the second event in a row? We're going to have to find out, as it's Drew Austin, Chris Kyle, Jacob Lawler, and now Kevin White. Those 4 are going to be battling here. Got about a minute left in their segment before we bring in entry number 25. Then we'll only have 15 more drivers before we get to the 5-lap shootout. This is really ticking by fast, no doubt about that. Drew Austin, I'll tell you what, Drew Austin, if he does make it to the final 5-lap segment, he's got himself a pretty doggone fast car. He's been out in front ever since he entered in at entry number 21 for a majority of these segments. So he's possibly showing some muscle here. Oh, man, Jacob Lawler. Oh, man, he almost got the same courtesy from Kevin White that he gave Dylan Poteet during the last segment. As they're going to be racing 2 by 2 here, looks like we may have someone get to somebody's back bumper, namely Jacob Lawler to the back of Chris Kyle. Oh, wait a minute, Kevin White! Oh, he just clipped Drew Austin, and there goes Jacob Lawler! 3 eliminations! Chris Kyle going to be all by his lonesome. As here comes entry number 25, Austin, Lawler, and Kevin White have been eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Here we go, Carson Bechtold. He's going to come in at entry number 25, another driver of which I have never heard of before. And it may not look like that's how it's pronounced up on the top left, but I actually received a personal message from him telling me that is how his name is pronounced, so I am going to pronounce it the way he tells me because apparently he knows better than I do. So Carson Bechtold, going to try and do what Kevin White was not able to do, as he has been eliminated along with Jacob Lawler and Drew Austin. And that is try and become what Chris Jones was last season. I can't call him a no-name, but an unknown name. That's, I guess, the name, what I was trying to look for. An unknown name winning the Royal Rumble. And Chris Kyle giving him lots of room. Chris Kyle was one of 4 competitors last segment. And then in a blink of an eye, he was left all alone. And that's a tough break for Jacob Lawler. As I think back in my mind to a replay of that incident, Lawler just barely got clipped by Drew Austin. He nearly missed that. He got clipped there in the right rear. Shot up the racetrack, was eliminated. A tough break for him. And we're seeing here, I thought that maybe we'd end up having something happen like what happened back in the second Royal Rumble, where I believe it was Trent Dunham and Michael Norman. They all were surviving like crazy out there. They were able to keep it together for just about 10 segments, but right now we got Chris Kyle came in at entry number 23, Carson Bechtold at entry number 25. Apparently, it's very difficult for these drivers out there today to be able to produce any kind of longevity in staying in this thing in order to have a possibility of being around at the end. We got 9 seconds left, now counting down.
5,
Here comes our next
4,
entry. Entry
3,
number 26,
2,
ready to join
1.
these two to make it a 3-car pack. Coming in at entry number 26, Mark Matthews. In the 59, as he's going to go right to the inside of Chris Kyle. Yet another driver, of which I do not know anything of. Still got a few more yet to come as well. And right now, you got to wonder if Mark Matthews and Carson Bechtold, those two, if they're going to race each other rather clean here. I mean, those two, I think they know what's at stake. They're making their debuts here in the Royal Rumble. You gotta wonder, are they going to be racing each other hard, trying to eliminate each other, or are they going to be maybe ganging up on Chris Kyle or trying to stick around? We're going to find out, though, as looks like Carson Bechtold is going to go down to the bottom of Mark Matthews here. Chris Kyle just kind of riding around, biding his time. Pretty doggone good strategy if you ask me. Try and stay out of trouble, keep out of line of the target of your other drivers, and that may be the key of getting yourself into the final 5-lap shootout. You can just feel the anticipation right now as we are currently on entry number 26. We are nearing entry number 30. After that, only 10 more entries, and then we will have the final 5-lap shootout. This race very quickly winding down, and oh, what a save by Mark Matthews! Got into Chris Kyle, rode it on the apron and the track, doing that tightrope walk thing we saw someone do earlier, and he hangs onto it. What a great showing display of concentration there by Mark Matthews, and oh boy, for his efforts, he nearly got turned by Carson Bechtold. Oh boy, that is close. Man, just shoving him off that corner was Carson Bechtold. But Mark Matthews, that move, keeps him in this as we bring in entry number 27. The unknown names just keep on coming. Entry number 27, Ben Siebert in the 55. So out of these 4 drivers, only one of them I know something of, and that is Chris Kyle, who was out in front. Carson Bechtold, Mark Matthews, and Ben Siebert, nothing as far as I know. Oh man, there they go! That was Ben Siebert. He went off the racetrack, and Mark Matthews has hit the wall. He is riding the outside perimeter of this track on his side. And that car is finally going to come to rest. But just like that, 2 eliminations. Ben Siebert and Mark Matthews. And I don't really know who's going to get credit with those eliminations. I think it's going to be Ben Siebert, actually. I think he got into the right rear of the 59, and as a result, he went off the racetrack as well. Not sure if I was Ben Siebert, if I would have wanted to have made that kind of an aggressive move this early on before getting a little bit of experience of what this track is like. And now keep in mind, same as we've said before, being eliminated does not mean that Ben Siebert has to pull off the racetrack. He is at liberty for the next 40 seconds to try and eliminate Carson Bechtold and Chris Kyle if he so chooses. And if he does eliminate them, they are out. And there goes Chris Kyle! Chris Kyle, I think he just eliminated himself, actually. And so that leaves Carson Bechtold. Out of the 4 cars that started this segment, 3 of them are gone. And Carson Bechtold is the one who will remain. That means in the next segment, he's going to go one-on-one with entry number 28. We're going to find out who that is in about 5 seconds or so.
5, 4,
But Mark Matthews,
3,
Ben Siebert,
2,
and Chris Kyle
1.
all out of this event as here comes entry 28. And it's going to be James McLeod joining the fray here in the number 28. How ironic, the number 28 comes in at entry number 28. That car is sponsored by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I'm pretty certain he and Carson Bechtold right now, those two basically are going to just size each other up because we're getting pretty close to that entry number 30 before we have only 10 more drivers till that 5-lap shootout. You can bet that these drivers now sense that with the segments closing down and the 5-lap segment coming closer, their odds of making that final segment are really, really good. And so I don't think you're going to see them race each other that hard this time, at least not in this segment, as you see Carson Bechtold going to go back down to the bottom of James McLeod. Take a look at how McLeod gives him about nearly a car length worth of space on the left side. And just going to kind of let Carson Bechtold go on his way to the front. Looks like McLeod may actually be planning to go a little bit further back so that way he doesn't get anywhere close to making contact with Carson Bechtold. This is wise strategy on the part of both of these drivers. The only question I have is, though, how long can you go with this strategy when more and more drivers are going to be coming onto the racetrack and the field's going to build up again into 4, 5, 6 car packs? Can you stay patient that long when you got so many drivers in front of you, behind you, and to your sides? 30 seconds remaining in this segment. McLeod now going to go underneath of Carson Bechtold. And it's been so difficult to try and find out who's going to be a big favorite heading into that 5-lap shootout because just about everybody's been eliminated. Carson Bechtold came in at entry 25. McLeod in here now at entry 28. Everybody else has been eliminated from the Royal Rumble one way or another, whether it's being turned, getting themselves eliminated, or eliminating themselves while eliminating someone else. As here comes our next entry, entry 29. Entry 29 going to be Ryan Acosta in the 10 car. There he is. Tail end of this pack there in that SunTrust sponsored machine. I am not nearly as good as Anthony McCurry and Ralph Mason in knowing what the makes of these cars are and whatnot, but I can at least tell the sponsorships. That's at least one thing I can do, as it looks like they're going to give each other some good racing room here. Ryan Acosta, James McLeod. Gives us the opportunity here to be able to talk a little bit about some of these drivers. As far as their NSRA stats, James McLeod, this season, a 3-time Snickers Cup Series winner, including winning the Daytona 500 in Season 5, which shows his expertise at restrictor plate tracks. Ryan Acosta, as a matter of fact, Ryan Acosta ended up making a Snickers Cup Series chase, but it was actually quite interesting, that story. He was out with an injury. I believe this was back in Season 3. He was out with an injury, and his brother, Justin Acosta, came in to relieve him, or John Acosta, actually. I'm sorry, I think it was John Acosta came in to relieve him for the first few races before the chase began. Believe it or not, the 80 car made it into the chase, and when that happened, Ryan Acosta, he was ready to come back and battle out a spot for the chase. Instead, he gave John Acosta the chance to be able to race for the championship. John Acosta was unsuccessful, but still, very unselfish deed done there by Ryan Acosta. And who knows, this far down the road, he may be rewarded with a Royal Rumble victory, as he nearly got McLeod eliminated there. That was awfully close. I was giving you that whole story. In the meantime, my heart was in my throat watching the 10 all the way back. Oh! Carson Bechtold got wicked loose in that corner, got into Ryan Acosta, and somehow they saved it. Those three gonna continue on. Here comes entry number 30. Alright, we're beginning now the 10 driver countdown before we end up getting into the 5-lap shootout. Oops, I was going to show our latest entry. I thought he was running behind McLeod. My bad. Derek Reed in that 30th position. And the number 76, Derek Reed. If I'm not mistaken, I believe one of his 2 career Snickers Cup Series victories. Oh! He almost got turned right there by Ryan Acosta. Or was that McLeod? That was McLeod. Nearly turned him, actually. But Derek Reed, one of his 2 wins, if I'm not mistaken, came at Talladega Superspeedway. That was back in Season 4. Driving the number 64 under the name of DeVar O'Brien. And he also has a win here in the Snickers Cup Series this season under the name of Derek Reed for Germain Racing. Boy, we saw a near miss between Carson Bechtold and I believe it was James McLeod, or it might have been Ryan Acosta, back in the last segment. McLeod nearly doing the exact same thing to Derek Reed, and that could have been really, really costly. These cars, as the day's been waning on, it looks like these cars are having trouble trying to find some rear grip in the turns, making them slide out from underneath them, and when they do that, they try to overcorrect it, and when they do that, car wants to slide up on them, and oh, speaking of sliding up! Oh, all 4 of them have flown off the track! Oh my goodness, this is shades of last year. Ryan Acosta, Derek Reed, Carson Bechtold, and James McLeod have all been eliminated in one fell swoop. I think we got time to look at a replay of what happened to take all 4 of them out. Looks like the contact's going to start here with Carson Bechtold. Yep, just gets into Ryan Acosta there. Those 2 are going to get the apron, and then watch right here. Oh, man. Derek Reed gets collected, and McLeod nearly got through. But what happened was he went down onto the apron, and then he slides up the racetrack and just cannot hang on to it. And look at the wild rides they go for. Oh, man, Derek Reed, that's hard impact. Whoa, was McLeod actually flipping up on the... I think he is. Yeah, look at this. Oh, man, the impact. And he goes flying down the hill. 5 seconds to go on the clock. We gotta take a look at our next entry. Actually, our next 2 entries to come in, as we need 2 new competitors on the racetrack, and all 4 drivers have just been eliminated. So entries 31 and 32 now enter into the Royal Rumble after Entries 25, 28, 29, and 30 were just taken out in one fell swoop. Barney Ward in the 84, whoa, we just almost got eliminated right there, by Luke Martin in the 5. Trying to think back, I almost actually think that Luke Martin is a former winner here at Talladega. I think he ended up picking up a Mobile Cup Series win here. It was either here or Daytona. I believe it was at a restrictor plate track, and behind him, Barney Ward in the 84. He is actually a championship contender this season in the Snickers Cup Series. He's actually one of 3 drivers who made the Snickers Cup Series chase without a victory. It was him, Sean Henley, and Mary Cole. And Barney Ward would love to be able to win the Royal Rumble here today, as would Luke Martin. And you just gotta think that the fact that all 4 of those drivers were out there battling, and all 4 of them in just a matter of seconds were eliminated from the Royal Rumble, that's got to start to stir the minds of these other drivers that are going to be coming in. Realizing just what's at stake as Barney Ward roughs up the back bumper of Luke Martin a little bit. That could have been very close. But, you know, which is the lesser of 2 evils? Do you try and keep yourself in contention by not eliminating someone and then end up having them beat you to the line in the final 5-lap segment? Or do you risk it and go for the ultimate risk-reward by eliminating that driver as soon as you can? You know, it's the kind of strategy these drivers have to work with. And, oh, there's one textbook move right there. Luke Martin's been taken out by Barney Ward, and now Luke Martin's trying to repay the favor and take out Barney Ward. Cannot do it. Luke Martin has just been eliminated, and Barney Ward's getting ready to take on our next competitor, entry number 33. And it'll be Joshua Michaels in the number 97 coming in at entry 33. So Barney Ward going to get credited with the elimination of Luke Martin out of the Royal Rumble. Now he's in position to try and do the same to Joshua Michaels. Joshua Michaels not exactly having the best of seasons in the Snickers Cup Series. He's a rookie driving for Stewart-Haas Racing, and really it's been a really rocky road for that team. We'll probably be trying to get into a much better ride and team next season. But could find a silver lining in the cloud here in his NNSCRA career with a victory here in the Royal Rumble, as he now is the hunter and Barney Ward is the huntee, or the hunted, whichever you want to go. And Michaels is Oliver's back bumper. Oh boy. Wow. He literally had him in a perfect spot right there and was not able to close the deal. Look at him still on the back bumper of Barney Ward. That's got to be playing mind games with Barney Ward's psyche. And now Joshua Michaels says, okay, enough of this. He might be scaring himself as he's going to open up about a car link between himself and Barney Ward. We got about 40 seconds left in this segment before we bring in entry number 34. Joshua Michaels, is he going to try to get Barney Ward again? It looks like he tried to dive it into the corner. Coming up to the back bumper. Oh, he's going to try. He's going to try. He's there. And Barney Ward saved it. Wow. Nearly headed down towards that dotted white line, and somehow Barney Ward makes a great save out of turn 4. So Michaels 0 for 2 in trying to eliminate Barney Ward. Looks like these two are going to advance. A miracle for Barney Ward that he's going to be advancing, as he did some pretty slick driving right there to keep himself in this. Here comes our 34th entrance into the Royal Rumble. And it's going to be Mr. Ralph Mason in the number 40 joining the fray here in the 34th entrant. So now we got quite a bit of internationalism here. 2 Englishmen in Ralph Mason, Barney Ward. Joshua Michaels in the 97. This is going to get very interesting very soon. It's going to be interesting to see if maybe the two Brits are going to gang up there on Joshua Michaels. Let's see. Oh, here they come down to the bottom. It's not the kind of ganging up I was thinking of as far as passing for a position at the front of the field. I was thinking more in terms of elimination. Who knows, maybe Ralph Mason and Barney Ward will go at it with each other, see who's the better Brit. We already know that Sean Galligan, who entered in at the very unlucky number 1, he's already out of this race. And George Roque is out of the race already too, another Englishman, I believe, at least another fellow from across the pond. As they're going to come down here, and we're going to have 40 seconds left in this one, and really the racing's been very good between these three. A lot better than I was expecting. After this, when we get our next entry, and we're going to have only 5 more entries before our 5-lap shootout. At this rate, if these guys can stay in it as well as everybody else behind them, looks like we're going to have a... it's going to be a 9... yeah, 9-car pack to finish off this thing. But we're still a long ways from done. There still could be eliminations in the near future here for several of these drivers. We're going to find out. Here comes in entry number 35. And it's going to be the Season 4 Oreo Truck Series Rookie of the Year, Rohit Vidaravu, in the 61, coming in at entry number 35. Keep in mind, too, when entry number 40 comes in, that is the time when the 5-lap segment begins. Not a 2-lap or 2-minute segment when he comes in and then the 5-lap shootout. It's immediately when entry number 40 comes in, that is when the 5-lap segment begins. So these drivers realize that the time is ticking so much closer to that final segment, and all 4 of these drivers want to be able to make it. They're doing a very good job racing with each other right now, giving each other lots of room. Well, just when I say that, Joshua Michaels pulls right up to the back bumper of Barney Ward. Looks like he's giving him enough space, though. Nothing at least that bad now. Vidaravu not giving Barney Ward very much room. And that could have been really bad for all these drivers. It looks like Joshua Michaels, he is intent on trying to eliminate Barney Ward. He almost got the job done twice. And now he's trying again. Ralph Mason says, okay, you guys are going to try to eliminate each other? I want to be up in front and out of the way of this. Because we've seen a lot of times the drivers up at the front of the field, when they turn one another, it's very difficult for other drivers to maneuver their way through. They either hit the apron, shoot up the track while trying to avoid the wreck, or they get collected in it with cars sliding up in front of them. So we're only 15 seconds away. Looks like we're going to start building this pack up again. It's been a while since we've had a 5-car pack, and we're going to finally end up having it happen. Can't even talk.
4, 3,
As here comes in entry number 36. Entry 36, none other than the Season 1 Snickers Cup Series champion, Dougie Shears, in the 45. Now the big question I'm sure a lot of people are wondering right now is, can 5 cars keep it together here? We've seen so many times today where they build it up to 5, 6-car packs, and just like that, everything breaks loose, and you see 1 or 2 cars left on the racetrack. Oh boy, we'd almost had some contact down there between Joshua Michaels and Rohit Vidaravu. They did keep it together, though. We're still good. I don't like the way Barney Ward is going through the middle there. Looks like he's going to be okay. Oh, Ralph Mason's got Dougie Shears right behind him. They're giving each other enough space, so we're still good to go. Still a ways to go, though, in this segment. Nearly a full minute left before we bring in entry number 37. It's good to see, though, that they're able to keep it together here, giving each other enough space. Every one of these drivers wants to make it to that final lap, or that final 5-lap segment. Oh, wow! Oh, what a save by Barney Ward. I don't know if he got hooked onto Rohit Vidarvu or what, but his car just shot down towards the bottom of the racetrack. He nearly made contact with Dougie Shears. I'll tell you what, Barney Ward has been making some tremendous saves today. We always try and look each Royal Rumble at a driver that really is showing that he has amazing driving skills to keep him in, and right now it's looking like Barney Ward could be that driver even this late in the event. As everybody still appears to be good. Look at Barney Ward going to the high side. He says, man, I've had a couple near misses. I think it's time to just hang back and see what happens. As we're getting ready now to unveil entry number 37. As the end of this thing is closely coming to an end. Well, we've had Carson Bechtel, we've had Mark Matthews, we've had Kevin White. Lots of drivers, I don't know who they are. For the first time, them being seen in the Royal Rumble. Well, we've got another one. This is actually our last one. And this is Bob Rose in the 23. The Ruby Tuesday machine. Bob Rose, the final driver of which I have absolutely no prior history in the NNSCRA of. And he could definitely come into the 4th Royal Rumble with history if he could win this thing here this season. Oh boy. Oh, looks like Rohit Vidarvu was going to move into the middle groove. For a moment there, I thought he was going to get turned by Ralph Mason. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Oh boy, Joshua Michaels. Oh, Barney Ward again! Look at that car! He slipped up about 4... Oh, and again! Oh my goodness! Almost up into Rohit Vidarvu off turn 4. How many times has he saved that thing? Barney Ward, he is one busy driver today, but he is making it work, and he's putting on quite a show for the fans. And I'll tell you what, Barney Ward in my books already has taken the Best Saves of the Day award. And he's now going to go down the inside. Barney Ward's got to be having a pulse that's just going rapidly this entire event. Oh, did he save it again? He did! But Bob Rose did not, and he took someone with him. It might have been Joshua Michaels. Yes, it was. Bob Rose and Joshua Michaels have been eliminated. Barney Ward saved it again. So Bob Rose, a quick entrance and exit into the Royal Rumble. Oh, there goes Barney Ward. Nowhere for him to go. And was that a helicopter? He was as high as a helicopter.
5, 4,
what?
3, 2,
okay.
1.
And I think Dougie Shears was eliminated too. Next entry coming in, we'll get the official word in just a moment. Mr. Michael Norman comes in at entry number 38, and as you notice, he's only racing Ralph Mason. Why? Well, we know Barney Ward went off the outside of the racetrack. We also received word that when, just before we end up reaching the 9-minute segment, both the Rohit Vidarvu and Dougie Shears machines made contact, and they spun beneath the yellow line onto the apron. We do actually have video footage of it too. I'm not making it up. And so those two were eliminated as well. Ralph Mason, actually, was nearly eliminated. He did a bit of a rim ride up on the extreme high line of the turn as he nearly went off the track with Barney Ward. Mason, though, an incredible save. He's still in it, and he's side by side right now with Michael Norman in the 12. So Michael Norman, with the benefit of a good spot here, a good number drawn of 38, Michael Norman this season, the Snickers Cup Series All-Star Race winner. He also made a big impact in Season 4 when he made his debut in Trucks, Mobile, and Snickers. I believe he had 5 wins that season, 2 in Snickers, 1 in Mobile, and 2 in Trucks. Michael Norman also making an announcement not too long ago that in Season 6 of the Snickers Cup Series, he's going to be driving the 3, sponsored by WWE and The Walking Dead, for Michael Norman Motorsports. As Ralph Mason is all over the back bumper of... Oh no, oh no, oh no, whoa! Mason! Mason's eliminated! Mason eliminated himself! He did go all 4 tires beneath that dotted white line. Mason, with the attempt to eliminate Michael Norman, just screwed himself, and Ralph Mason has eliminated himself from the Royal Rumble. Now he may be trying to eliminate Michael Norman here in the last 7 or so seconds. Can he do it? Norman going to be hanging on for his life here, and he's going to survive. Here comes entry number 39 as Ralph Mason has been eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Here's entry number 39, Austin LaPlante in the 3. And you just gotta think that Michael Norman and he are gonna race each other clean here. If they try eliminating each other, I don't think I can even comprehend what's gonna happen. I think, according to the rule books, if both these drivers are eliminated within this 2-minute segment, that would mean that entry number 40, who we still can't disclose yet, would automatically win the Royal Rumble. That's the only thing I can possibly think of, because there would be no other drivers in that have not yet been eliminated. So that would mean that a 5-lap shootout would be null and void. We wouldn't even need it. So you gotta think that Austin LaPlante and Michael Norman have to be smart about this. They cannot get aggressive with each other yet. They've got 1 minute, 15 seconds to keep their emotions in check, to keep their adrenaline a little lower than they would normally be, with so much on the line here. If they can keep it clean for just about a little less than a minute now, they will make it into the final 5-lap shootout with our 40th entry. Oh, Michael, no. Michael, no. Think about this, Michael. Oh, boy, he did. Thank heavens. Okay, so we're still good. We got 40 seconds left. Oh, man, these guys are making me nervous. Never before have we ever finished a Royal Rumble without a shootout. And, oh, no, Michael, please! Oh, it's a good save. Oh, he's only 2 tires. Michael's still in it. Austin LaPlante's got to be absolutely going out of his mind right now, with the prospect of maybe getting eliminated here. Okay, maybe they can just stay double wide here, because we're going to possibly have 3 cars to finish this thing out. 3 cars. Alright, 5 seconds remaining. We are going to have 3 cars finish this out. Let's take a look and see who drew lucky number 40 and who automatically made his way into the final 5-lap shootout. Well, this is certainly anything but a duh moment for Mr. Charles Jackson. He's gonna be the final entry into this thing as the green flag comes out. 5-lap shootout. Now listen up, folks. This is how this goes down. There are no eliminations in this. If you get spun out, you can try to continue on and win this race. We can see a driver be way behind after getting spun out. Then the front 2 wreck, and that driver who is behind come out from nowhere and win this thing. Anything goes. Any passes can be made. Any turns can be done. Any contact can be made. There is nothing that you can't do to try to win this thing. 3 drivers. LaPlante, Jackson, Norman. They're going to be the 3 to battle it out. We're already going to complete our first lap of this 5-lap segment, with LaPlante going to be the one to lead this thing. There is Charles Jackson down on the inside right now of Michael Norman. Charles Jackson got to be one lucky son of a gun with the fact that he drew entry number 40, the final entry into this thing, and he would love to be able to close the deal. But keep in mind, Charles Jackson has not had as much running time as Austin LaPlante and Michael Norman. They have a little bit more experience with the way that this track handles here today than he does. Is that going to be a flaw that Charles Jackson's going to have to overcome? Contact between himself and Austin LaPlante, and they still keep it together. As Michael Norman, he did not go down beneath the double white line, or that dotted white line. Wouldn't have mattered though. No eliminations, as I said. Lap 2 completed. Now on to lap 3. Oh boy. 3 laps to go here. And these drivers, you can tell with the way they're racing each other, they know they want to stick around until the very last lap. That may be when you'll start seeing the turning happen, when you'll start seeing the punting happen, when you'll start seeing the slide jobs happen. So they're going to go 3 wide here again. LaPlante, Jackson, Norman, 3 wide, single file, as LaPlante's going to go back to the front. No doubt about it. These first 4 laps are going to be a sizing up process. Finding out what your opponent's got that you don't have, and trying to find a way to get what your opponent has that you don't have. 2 laps to go. Next time by, it's the white flag lap, as Michael Norman actually trying to work a draft with Charles Jackson on the high side, and amazingly enough, that appeared to work. LaPlante now going to slide back in line in third as Jackson is out in front. Can Charles Jackson close the deal on the lucky day he's had? Drove entry number 40, ensured himself a spot in this final 5-lap segment. Can he get the win? Coming down to get the white flag. It's all on the line now. Anything goes. Who is going to win it? Will it be Jackson? Will it be Michael Norman? Will it be Austin LaPlante? There was the white flag. We got 4 more turns as Norman looks to the inside. Look at Austin LaPlante. LaPlante's trying to get to the back bumper, trying to turn Michael Norman. He makes contact. Norman loses it. No, he saved it. Norman saved it. How did he do that? Oh my goodness. There's LaPlante. Look at the inside, but can they catch Jackson? They may be able to. How Norman saved it, I don't know. As here he comes trying to run Charles Jackson down. Out of turn 4. Can Jackson do it? Jackson gonna try and hold them off here, and looks like he will be able to. Charles Jackson is gonna close the deal. Jackson wins the Royal Rumble, the 3rd annual NNSCRA Royal Rumble here today at Talladega. And how Michael Norman did not spin out, I have no earthly idea. That was one of the best saves of the day, and it happened here in the final segment of this race. Norman did get second at the line, LaPlante third. Those were the only 3 to make it here into the final segment of this race. But Charles Jackson gonna join the names of Kevin Rabinall and Chris Jones as a Royal Rumble winner here in the NNSCRA. You may chalk it up to luck, you may chalk it up to skill, but the fact remains that Charles Jackson is the winner of this race, as he's gonna take a celebratory lap around this racetrack. What a well-earned race. Many drivers, many people may argue it was the luck of the draw, but hey, that's what the Royal Rumble is all about, and Charles Jackson capitalizes on it here today. What a great win there for that 16 team. And Charles Jackson becomes our 3rd different Royal Rumble winner. What an incredible job by that driver. Luck was definitely on his side today. He drew entry number 40 and then was able to hold off Michael Norman and Austin LaPlante as they tried to recover from their little bit of contact in turn 2. Just couldn't be done. And Charles Jackson today will go to victory lane in the 3rd annual NNSCRA Royal Rumble. Folks, I appreciate you sticking with us this long time. We always have really long Royal Rumbles here, and for sticking with me, I really do thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed this race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like. Be sure to give this video a like if you want me to do another Royal Rumble in the future. And we will see you guys next time. Congratulations once again to Charles Jackson. He is your Season 3 NNSCRA Royal Rumble champion.